If you're feeling blessed, watch out. Blessing always comes with a test. Hello, this is Keith from Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast, and I often feel blessed. There are moments and there are days when it's like, oh, I want to feel like I did yesterday or an hour ago or whatever. But I am very blessed. This resonates with me, and I'm going to share it with you. The 5 mistakes to avoid when you've been entrusted with blessing is the way I'd like to put it. I should have written bigger. I wrote some ideas down here, not just my own, some others, and I wrote kind of small, and I should have probably just used a whole page. I used a half a page. 5 mistakes to avoid when you are being blessed, when you have been blessed, when you're in those moments of blessing. Number 1, helping someone without thinking, helping too much without thinking about what you're doing. That's a big one. I would say that it's a good thing that I, in many ways, was not blessed more earlier in my life, because I tend to give money away. I still do it. I just don't. I'm just not about money. And so I give it away. I give the resources. I give time, effort, energy, and dollars. But I will say that I am rarely taken advantage of these days, partly because I'm wiser and partly because I take a minute and think about what I'm doing and who it's for and why, find out the why behind the what for the other person, and be very careful to give too much of my heart and soul, which leads to giving money. At the company that I own with my wife and one of my sons, we make a practice of helping people in their journey, which means that we're our second chance. We've been laughingly said that we're a second, third, and fourth chance company. I'm not sure we've given anybody 5 chances, but maybe we have, because we glom onto people and we support them and we love them. But being too kind, being careless with your kindness, it'll drain you. Financially, of course, but emotionally. And it's the emotional side that people really get. We often offer to people to come and get a loan from the company or to talk to us when they have a hard time, see if there's a way we can help. And most of the time, unless it's a sick family member in another country or another state or something, most of the time we can talk through the logic and the reason of why they're asking for what they're asking for. And often we remind them that paying this back is going to be an extra burden on you. And so we need to be careful about how much the amount is, because it can be more of a burden than you want to deal with. And that was been something that I'd learned wisely from someone else, just in a little microcosm. And then I was able to go practice it. And now it's something I'm actually fairly good at, is discouraging people from the chains, the fetters of debt, especially short-term debt to your employer, because that's a really bad situation all the way around. And though we trust that people, when they borrow money, they're going to be there for the 3 months, 6 months, however long it's going to be before they pay it off, whatever the agreement is, but we don't always know. So it puts us at risk too. And so we want to limit that risk for us and them. And that's what one of the ways we should see it. Not helping too much because it actually risks the relationship. Allow that thought to cross your mind. Allow that thought to go a couple of steps down that road, and then act accordingly. You do want to do things for people. I do. But you need to be careful in how you do it. Remember, by the way, that users will rush in and they'll be like ants, as ants rush to sugar. And the word will get out that you're a giver, that you will give things. Be careful of that. Number 2, talking too much about your blessings. If you get a new house, do it in silence. If you get a new job, you get a windfall of some kind, you make a great investment, you earn some money, you get a great raise, you make double what most of the people in your life make, even some people that are much older and been at it much longer. Keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. Find ways to be generous anonymously if you have to, but keep it to yourself. Don't brag about it. And don't even talk about it. It's not even about bragging. It's just don't talk about it. Not everybody is going to support you. Not everybody is going to be happy for you. But if you can look in your life and find a few trusted people, that's very few. For me, it's probably 2 or 3 people that I could tell some of the good things that are happening in my life, and they wouldn't get distracted by it. Being in business, often we deal with bigger numbers. Sometimes numbers in the millions, sometimes just projects are in the multiple millions of dollars. And so you add all of that up and there's a pretty good gross income for the business with a lot of zeros, a lot of digits. And that can be very distracting to some people if you talk about millions when they're thinking that 100,000 is a lot. They've never seen it or whatever. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying it's the zone that I'm in. Now, I don't get to keep much more than some of them do. I don't get to bring that home, but the numbers are much bigger and they have to be the same. They have to be thought of in much the same way as smaller numbers. They're just mathematics. That's all it is math. So the more you share, the more envy you'll attract. So be careful of that. Not everyone is happy for you. I've said some things to a few and I went, oh, well, that didn't come off right. They looked at me with a certain look and I could have misinterpreted it, but I think it means such and so. And I never can have that moment back. So be careful what moments you give, what moments you share with other people. When you move up, when God moves you up into blessing, remember this, that I heard this analogy today, that when a tree is always growing 2 directions, up and down. So the higher that it goes, the further those branches reach, the more glorious that tree visibly is, the more root system it has. So you have to do both. If you're going to be glorious and wonderful in the world, you need to go deeper and deeper and deeper with God, with where the blessing came from, and really, really understand the tool that is the blessing. If it's money and you have some money, how is the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords that gave it to you, how does he want you to use it? How does he want you to see it? And it probably isn't just for your own family. It's probably not for your family, but to use that money as a tool for showing them how to think the way God thinks. And it might even mean giving up things or using the talent that it took to get the money in the first place to do more. Number 3, don't get too comfortable. That's a danger. It's a mistake you can make, is getting too comfortable. I have done that a couple of times in my life. I didn't even have a lot of money, but I remember thinking, wow, I could probably slide right out of this company. This person these people over here could handle it. And it was really bad for the company. It was bad for me. Most of the blessings that you're seeing today come from past efforts. Be sure and remember that if you put the effort in today, then often what you're sowing today will be reaped in another day. So maybe it's 30 or 40 years of blessings are sowing for you and some reaping now. That's what it kind of is in my life. And I really appreciate it. Something that I wrote down that I think is really important, of course, you probably hear it behind my words, is you have to absolutely 100% not get overly comfortable if you are increasingly grateful and increasingly humble. You will continue to work hard because the work of your hands is purposeful and fulfilling. And God put us on this earth. Just read Ecclesiastes. He put us on this earth to find joy in our work. And whether the work produces bounty or not, find joy in the work. And don't get comfortable in the process. Humble and grateful. Consistency. The same point is consistency. If you're inconsistent, you're shooting for comfort. If you're unfaithful to your standards, to something that you said, to your word, to your ethics, to your integrity, you're actually submarining, you're actually cutting off your legs for future blessing if you do that and think that. Number 4, never, I've already alluded to this, never forget the source of your blessing. It is God. It's the full-on source. You can't deny it. You better not deny it. And that's what's going to provide for you and your families, if you're an employer, for them also. And it comes literally from the hand of God. And we can't forget that. He made it possible. Many people prayed day and night, but then when they get what they wanted, or a measure of it, then they stop, and their faithfulness to God goes away because they're no longer in that stressful situation. Remember daily who brought you here, who gave you the blessing, and how did the battles he won, the doors he opened. Stay humble and grateful. Number 5, one of the mistakes to avoid, one of the biggest ones you can make, is ignoring your parents, ignoring the honor that you need to have for those who prayed for you, gave their soul for you. Let's see, I wrote some things down. They prayed, they sacrificed, they carried your dreams, while at times letting some of their own die. Remember the foundation that they built under you by doing certain things and not doing other things, because if they were halfway decent parents, they put effort into this thing. And you need to remember that. You need to remember that and be grateful to them. When you're grateful and thankful for them, that is honor. Honor is not about them deserving it, though they likely do. By definition, honor is not about what someone deserves. It's about their position in your life, a God-made position, possibly a man-made position like a boss, but certainly a parent. God puts you in that family, and you need to honor the position you are in that family, which is son or daughter, and you need to honor the position that they are in the family over you, which is parent. And God said you will live long on this earth, which means prosper, live long and prosper. That's what that means if you honor your parents. I've seen both ways. I've had it in my heart to not be honorable at times, but I've also honored my parents, my in-laws, till literally the day they died. And I am proud of that. I don't take pride, I don't think, in an evil way, but I am proud of the fact that that's what I can say sitting here today. I don't think I left anything undone in regards to honoring them. I sacrificed dollars when we didn't have any. I sacrificed time, immense amounts of time, wasted immense amounts of time because of their wants and desires, and gave up many, many of my own when they were actually being very unreasonable, and allowed them to have my wife basically during some times when they were sick for months at a time, and they got all of her attention and I got none. And I'm not feeling sorry for myself because I was honoring them. And I feel like that is something that needed to happen. Your parents' blessing, a part of your success. And let me say this to you younger listeners. If you want to have success, then you need to remember the blessing. You need to remember what foundation, the way that what they've put in you. When we talk about greatness, the pathways to greatness, they've likely built it into you. They have built some things into you that are not good also, that actually can lead to greatness, because you can say, well, I don't want to be like my mother or father in this way. And it can lead to greatness by looking at it differently, concentrating on it differently, resonating with the thoughts, the thinking that it takes to get better than them. And they, especially if they were humble enough to admit it, that all the better, but some are not. Just remember your parents. Honor them. Honor them not in the way you would define honor, because that's the part of the problem. In today's world, honor is very selfish. It's very self-serving, kind of like respect. I want respect. And I want to give them respect, but only if they give me respect. I'll give them honor, sure, but honor is equated with respect, and it's not the same thing. So look it up, figure out what honor is, the differences between it, look at the biblical version of honor, and do exactly that for your parents. And maybe you need to return some of the prayer they prayed for you upon them, because as they age, they've got problems similar to what you had, but different because it's an aging problem rather than a little kid problem. I just have given you 5 mistakes to avoid when you're being blessed, when you're in the zone of blessing. And I hope it's resonated with you. Please like, please comment, please, follow, please subscribe. I need more listeners. And we'll do our best to get there. Some of these things have reminded me again to be grateful and to remain humble and to talk quietly about my blessings and only to a few rather than a lot. Brag upon the blesser, not the blessee. Brag about God. And not because of what he's done for me, but what he's done for the world. And just a small, tiny part, sometimes for me, but mostly in salvation. My buddy, Zig Ziglar, he said, you were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. You, my friend, were designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. Now go get those seeds watered, plant those seeds. Make sure that you're sowing now with the seeds of greatness so that one day that greatness can be a struggle because you've been blessed. It can be a struggle like I read in that list. Now, here's the call to action. Here it is. Go be great.